What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Cool Colas here, and I got another really interesting topic that I want to talk to you all about today. So before we get into this topic, as I've said before on a ton of my other videos, feel free to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, leave me a nice comment, don't be an asshole, and continue to support me and tell everyone about what I am doing. So today I want to give an official statement on a question that I have been asked over and over again, especially when I first started doing my brand on Instagram. Today I want to talk about the topic of what is the solution to fixing the issue of poor representation of Black people in media. This solution is very, very simple. And I've said it so many times on Instagram, but I want to make sure that I make it very clear here. The solution to fixing the problem of poor representation in the media that we see today is full divestment. But I'll also add another additional thing to that as well too, because that's mainly what I've told people. So that part is still true. Full divestment. Get up out of there. Stop trying to beg people, like specifically white people who are creating these different media projects, to create Black characters that are proper. Stop begging them to create your culture in the way that you want to see it. Stop doing that shit, because they really don't want to do it. The only thing they want to do is use you as a prop for diversity so people can continue to support them now that we live in this world that values symbolic diversity. So that's all they really want to do. And all you're doing is playing into it because they know that you will take anything. You'll scrape the barrel even though you don't have to. So I'm going to add another additional thing, like I said. The other thing to keep in mind that's a solution to this is you don't have to just divest. You also have to have the mindset and understanding of why you're divesting in the first place, which I think is a big issue, because you could make your own thing and just say, well, I'm mad, I'm angry, so I'm just going to make my own thing because I am fed up with the way that I was treated, and that's it. But then when you make your own thing, you start letting a bunch of people into what you're creating, and they end up sabotaging. And what I mean by a bunch of people is the same types of like racist white people who were already messing with you and like not representing you correctly in the media that you were trying to get involved in the first place, or trying to get proper representation in the first place. What we really need are Black writers, Black creators, Black authors, Black producers, and everybody in between who don't just want to have proper representation, but understand what it means to be on code and why we should have a certain code of conduct when we operate amongst one another. And what I mean by certain code of conduct is you will work with other Black people who are also empowered and on code, who want the same thing. So it's basically like seeking the like-minded, seeking to work with like-minded individuals. So they don't just have to be Black, because, and they meet that checkbox for you of them being a Black person, or that type of thing. You need somebody who's Black who has the same type of mindset and way of thinking, because there's a lot of us who are off code, and a lot of us who have a lot of very selfish interest, and a lot of us who really aren't interested in empowering Black people. We just want to empower ourselves, but don't want to be treated badly in the process. There's too many Black people that are walking around, from my perspective, who are they want proper representation because they don't want to dismantle a system of white supremacy or remove themselves from a system of white supremacy. They want to find comfort in it. So I think there's too much of that going on. And you don't want those types of people around you, because they end up being snakes, because the only person that they're interested in helping out and serving is themselves. You need people who have this mindset of, we need to change the things that we see because it's wrong. We need to change the fact that we're not represented properly because that's not fair or right. It's disrespectful. It's at the end of the day, it's a lie, and then it's really messed up. I think that's the reason why I think it's important for us to try to work with individuals who have that similar mindset. Now, the reason why I always say that and full divestment together is because what a lot of people will get out here and they'll do, they're like, oh, I'll just make a business and I'll just do a bunch of stuff. But then they just don't have like set rules for who they're letting in, what type of content they're creating, what is the overall vision, and does everything that I just said serve Black people specifically in black people as a priority. That's what it's really all about. Making something that's pro-black, something that sticks to their guns on pro-blackness as well too. That is the main thing that we need to do. We need to stop begging these creators to create something that represents us properly. And I don't think that it's as big lately as it was, some years ago, like when I first started talking about this stuff on social media, but it's still an issue. And the reason why I say that is because there was a Instagrammer, I can't think of the brother's name right now, but what he did was he was talking about how in the anime scene everything was blowing up because there was a black anime character. I can't remember what her name was, but there's a black anime character who was voiced by this certain voice actress, and they basically switched I think what I'm trying to remember the situation correctly, but I remember they switched the actress to somebody who was white or something like that, and then they felt that the character should be voiced by somebody who was black. And so they were basically saying that it should be a thing where, we should advocate for a lot of black voice actors to be able to have positions where they're able to speak. Now, I do understand the need to have like healthy representation where you're getting yourself out there so you're able to, so people see your face, you get notoriety from the work that you've done, and you make money too as well too, and you're able to do different things. So I understand if you need to play the game and kind of get in there and do that until you can kind of get your paper up and whatnot. But what I don't understand is just staying there. You're not supposed to just stay there. You're supposed to be there temporarily, take off, and then do your own thing. That's supposed to be the real cheat code there. But what a lot of people do is they get comfortable and they're like, hey, I really want comfort within this system that's very corrupt, instead of actually creating their own thing, which would not be corrupt. And that's because they themselves are just very selfish, and they know that it's going to take a lot of work and it's a lot of risk that's involved with that because of all the hatred and all the disrespect and all this other stuff that they're possibly going to get. They don't want to deal with all those things. They just want to be able to be treated fairly. And that's why I said you can't prop folks like that up, nor can you work with folks like that, because you can't trust them, because you never know what they're going to do, because the only person that they really serve is themselves. And that's why we as a collective have to have this mindset where we're serving a collective, not just ourselves. And I'll talk about that issue in another video, but the point I'm trying to make is that the main things that we as black people need to focus on, and instead of worrying about all this representation and stuff like that, is we need to focus on this idea that we need to fully divest, meaning remove ourselves completely from what is happening in media as far as putting ourselves in that situation. So actors, black actresses, stop taking roles where this is a thing. And what I'm also saying is fans, stop supporting that content. Support on code black creators and people who are up and coming and trying to do things. And the other thing we need to do is we just need to have the right mindset when we go in. We need to be able to be on code and maintain that codification as well too. Anyway, y'all, I hope you all enjoyed this video and got something educational from what I said. I'm going to have a lot more to come. I have videos every Saturday, so please continue to stay tuned. I hope y'all enjoyed everything that I had to say. As I just said, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on your way out of here, and I hope y'all have a good night. Peace.